Hello and welcome back to our daily blog. And for the next few days we're going to be looking at parables on the theme of money. Now, in a way, many of Jesus's parables are indirectly about money. We've looked at landowners, farmers, shepherds, masters and slaves, and of course we've had parables such as the lost coin and the prodigal son. But now we're going to be looking specifically at wealth, those who have it and those who don't. And the first parable we're going to look at is that of bigger barns, which can be found in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 12, verses 13 to 21. Now, at the start of this passage, Jesus is asked by two brothers to arbitrate over a division of inheritance. Jesus says who made him the judge over them, and they should keep watch over greediness, as life doesn't thrive because of material possession. And then in response, he tells the parable, which I will paraphrase. A wealthy man had very productive land, so much so that he couldn't store all of his crops in his existing barn. So he tore down the barn and built a bigger one in its place to hold all of the grain and all of the fine things that he had collected during his life. Then he could relax and celebrate. But God turns to him and says, "You idiot!" Harsh words from God. "For this night your life will be demanded from you. The things you have saved, whose will they be? For those who save things up for themselves are not wealthy towards God." So what does that mean? As always, we need to look at the parable in context. This particular parable is found sandwiched between two passages containing instructions to not worry. And this parable underlines this. We shouldn't worry about things, about money, material possessions, stuff, because it's not what is most important in life. We all accumulate a lot of stuff. I think over the course of lockdown, many people have taken the opportunity to have a good clear out. What's really important to keep? I know we certainly have in this house. We've been through the attic. I inherited this house from my parents. I've got all of my stuff, all of their stuff, all of their parents' stuff, and now all of George and Lewis's stuff. That's a lot of stuff. But we found, actually, that it's a lot of stuff that we just don't need. It's the old adage, isn't it? You can't take it with you. That's true of material wealth. But what about wealth towards God? The word that is used in the parable to say that the man's life will be demanded from him can also be used in the context of calling in a loan. So this implies that this man's life is on loan from God, and therefore God can call in the debt at any time. And is his debt to God in good credit? His life has been about accumulating monetary wealth, not following the two commandments that Jesus has given us, to love God and love your neighbour as yourself. He looked after himself, but forgotten the other parts, the most important things, the things that make you rich in God's eyes. Yes, of course, we all like to have a bit of money saved up for a rainy day, but if that becomes our focus, we become greedy and lose sight of what's really important. Over the past couple of years, we've seen some of the very best of God-wealthy humanity in those people who've helped their communities during the pandemic. Key workers, people donating to food banks, and the small acts of kindness checking on our neighbours, offering to pick up shopping for someone in isolation. But we've also seen examples of those who perhaps do think more about their own possessions or wealth and could maybe do with taking stock of their God account rather than their bank balance. We all go out of this world the same way we come into it, with nothing but the love of God. And if we share that, then we are truly living in God's kingdom. I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.